You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
Hey, you're listening to Adulting with Horses, the best place to be if you can't be at the barn. We are your co-hosts and equine authors, Heather Wallace and Natalie Keller-Reinert. As crazy horse girls, we don't take ourselves too seriously in the saddle or out. We celebrate the things that make us different. Join us as we talk about horses and pop culture and get a little weird in a fun way. Thank you for being a little weird with us. It's your birthday this week.
It's my birthday right now.
It's your birthday right now as we're recording this.
Yeah, this is what I do on my birthday. I work. I work for you, the people.
Oh my God, like talking to me is so hard.
I woke up, I
Poor
was like,
thing.
oh God, I gotta talk to Heather today.
I know, you just got rid of me.
True. No, I woke up at like 3 a.m. with a book idea. So I've been awake for a while. So, yeah. But I don't have to do anything today. So, well, I have to go buy hay.
I was going to say, what are your plans?
I'm going to go buy hay. Excite.
Scintillating.
And then I'm going to have lunch with Corey and Calvin. Fun. And then I'm pretty sure I'm going to take a hella nap.
Sounds amazing.
And then I'm going to ride Ben. And that'll be my day.
Sounds like a perfect day.
It'll be pretty good. I'm in the middle of a vacation right now. So I started my vacation on Saturday afternoon after I finished my draft finally and sent it to people and said, read this and leave me alone.
Yay. So I know you were stressing about that one.
So stressed. And now it's gone. It's no longer my problem. I will have to fix typos and that's pretty much it. So yeah. It's always good when the first couple readers read it and somebody says, this is my favorite book of yours I've ever read. And I'm like, okay, good.
Yeah, keep that coming. You like that energy every book you've ever read.
Exactly. It should be, right? Because I should be getting better every time. So each book should be the best book you've ever read.
One would hope.
That's
I'm panicking
goal.
Right now because I'm waiting for my edits to come back on Shadow on the Mountain. And I'm just like, this one it got a little bit more intense, this book. And so I'm just like, oh God, I hope it's okay.
I'm sure it is brilliant. You know what you're doing.
I mean, vaguely. I'm learning what I'm doing, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it's nice that you take suggestions, But I mean, only your second book and you're still like respecting your editor. Very impressive.
I mean, I feel like if I'm going to hire a professional, I should take their advice, at least some of it, otherwise, why bother paying them money? Right? It's that weird status quo. But also, I don't have like 29 books under my belt like some people to perfect.
There's this website that says I have 41. I don't know.
Is it really? Maybe with anthologies and stuff?
Yeah, and some books I unpublished because they weren't good enough. Things like that. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
I get it. Well, on paper, I think I have 9, like between the nonfiction and the fiction. But I mean, there's like the barn time planner. Does that really count as a book? You know what I mean? It's like low content. So I think all in, I think I have 5 like full length works, which is not bad considering I'm a baby author.
Baby author. Big things coming.
Yeah, exactly. The world is my oyster. Well, I'm excited. Your birthday sounds awesome.
Hay, lunch,
and a ride, and a nap.
The nap I had to add after I woke up at 3 a.m.
I can't believe you woke up at 3 a.m. for the day. You're turning into me, Natalie. I was doing that for a long time.
Menopausal and grumpy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I cover up the grumpy in sugar and then get through the day. So now that I've taken sugar out of my diet, I'm surprisingly sleeping better. So thank God for that.
Yeah, I had ice cream last night. Probably wasn't a great idea.
Oh.
But guess what? I'm going to Disney World tomorrow, so there's a lot more where that came from.
It's going to be so fun. I know it's like literally your happiest place.
I am super excited. It is weirdly, it didn't occur to me until people started posting their 4-year anniversary stuff online. This is the 4-year anniversary of locking ourselves in our homes. I was like, oh shit, it is.
Oh, damn.
Right? And I completely forgot. So this is actually the 4-year anniversary of me not working at Disney World anymore.
Oh my God. So
So
you're going to
that
go
was kind of
celebrate by
weird.
going as a spectator,
Yeah, as a
a
guest, which
visitor.
is funny because I had a dream that like I had to work. And I was like, they didn't put me on the schedule for all this time, and now I'm on the schedule, and I get to give away shifts. And I was like, wait, I can quit because I have an annual pass. I don't need my cast member ID at all.
Wow, you even dream of Disney.
Well,
You
I've been
are.
reading some books by like Imagineers and stuff like that to kind of get in the vibe. So
Oh my God. Well, you're going in spring break. It's going to be a madhouse there.
I know, but I'm staying on property, as we say. So I can just like go back to my resort and watch people, and I can go to the boardwalk and do things that aren't in the theme parks as well. So we have dining reservations. So it's just some chill as hell.
That's awesome. Oh
The
my
things
God.
that we like to do are not popular, so it's fine.
I can't wait to see the photos on your feeds if you post any. So
I guess I will.
I'm sure you will. You're going to post pictures of food, aren't you?
Yeah, just because you said that, I'm gonna post all the pictures. It's gonna be 2009 again on my feed. All photos. I don't remember when was food photos were a big deal back in the early social media days, and they really fell out of favor, but they were fun.
I think some people still post if they have like a really good photo. I mean, I know you
Yeah.
send them to Calvin, but
Yeah.
I don't often take a picture of my food unless it's like mind-blowingly beautiful. And then I think the last time I took a photo and shared it was like when I was in Mongolia. I'm like, look at what I'm eating right
Oh my
now.
God, have you been to Mongolia?
Shut up. I actually had so there's this I forget the name of it. It's like Nordic Nomad, I think is maybe what it is. I think they just followed me on social media because Kathy Woods, I guess they've been looking for someone to come do photography for a whole bunch of their expeditions up in the Arctic and like, northern lands and for all these
Yeah.
different dog sleds and things like that. And they're like, we're looking for, and Kathy Woods like, Heather. I'm like, this is how I got roped into doing the Gobi Desert Cup, which was amazing. But also my clients were like none too thrilled with me being gone for almost a month twice. So I was like, appreciate the shout out, but like not sure I can pull that off right now. But maybe when the kids are in college.
It's so hard to go away. Like the older I get, the harder it is to go away because I like where I'm at and I don't want to go anywhere.
See, I love to travel. I
Mhm.
love to travel, but my job is pretty intense and I have kids that I can't really leave for a lengthy period of time. So,
Yeah.
my goal would be spring break's coming up. And for the first time in 4 years, we're taking the kids on a trip and we're going to Turks and Caicos, which I'm very excited about.
That's nice.
Never been. Should be nice and easy, all inclusive resort. I want to make this fun for my kids because 2 out of 3 want to travel and 1 is terrified of traveling.
Hmm.
So if I could get that one not terrified of traveling and just be an okay traveler, then sky's the limit and we could actually go and do things together, which is what I did growing up because the first time I was in Europe was with my dad and my family. I was like
Yeah.
13. So like I want that for them.
Yeah. I like kids getting to experience other cultures is really fun to do with them. And buying candy. That's how everyone does it, right? You just go to grocery stores and buy a lot of candy and you're like, new culture. That's how I do it.
Especially, well, I am going to England, so like I might have to bring you back some of the good chocolate.
Yeah, I might go this summer too. I haven't decided. We start craving it. I was like, we haven't been to London since like a
In a
year
year.
ago. Like what? So we're gonna have to find our way over there soon. So yeah, but that means leaving the ponies again.
Hmm.
You know, just kind of have to accept that you're never going to get anywhere because you like doing other stuff besides riding horses. Dum dum dum.
It's okay not to be all one-sided in your hobby. You know what I mean? Like it's okay to
I
have
need a hobby
multiple
for my
different
hobby.
hobbies.
Yeah, yeah. What do you do to unwind from your hobby? I travel.
Yeah. Or read or,
Yeah.
you can have more
Hmm.
than one hobby.
Hmm.
Um, well, and that's the benefit I think too of me. There's a lot of pros and cons to boarding at a facility, but that's a nice one is I can travel and know my horses are going to be taken care of and they're
Hmm.
probably not going to miss me. Whereas you have to get the farm sitter and the
Yeah.
check-ins and like prepare to leave.
Yeah, yeah. I love my farm sitter. I wish I could just hire her full time to be my farm manager and always be here because she's delightful and everybody likes her.
You
And
could
then
pay
I
her to
would
be your
just be,
friend.
I could pay her to be my friend. That's such a good idea. Yeah, she's my assistant. She's my social assistant.
I think that's a phenomenal idea, you know.
Yeah, people like me. Let's do
Excuse
it.
me, could you make this person like me? Thank you.
Will my money make you like me? Okay.
Yeah.
Sell more books, buy more friends.
Now that's a sticker.
Please buy my books. I need friends.
Exactly.
Oh man.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Well,
Yeah, if you do get a good farm sitter, you have to and just treat them like gold because I see people all the time that say they never get to go on vacation because they have horses. And I'm like, you can hire people for that. Like
right.
people exist, but you have, you have to vet them and make sure that they've almost all been vet techs at this point. At least all the ones around here, like
But that's a
every
good
single
thing.
one of them is a vet tech.
Yeah, because they can cover some of the minor stuff and they have the horse sense. You don't want to have someone who doesn't know anything about horses or, God forbid, doesn't know how to handle an emergency that comes up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Not while you're gone.
fast. Mm-hmm.
Right, exactly.
So
Exactly. But I
that should
mean,
be
I
one
say
of
the
the
same
first
thing about my
things.
farrier. I'm like, would you like a huge ass tip for Christmas? And just randomly, because I know and appreciate you and I never want you to leave me.
I mean, I told my farrier she could charge more. I guess that's the same thing. She hasn't, so that's
Well, you
good.
just add a tip. Just add a tip.
I
Well,
should also pay her for yesterday. Damn it. I'm so
that's
slow
a
with
reminder.
Venmo.
That's okay. They'll always send you a reminder if they need to.
Yeah.
Usually Venmo's pretty good, but if I have to send a reminder, it's pretty rare. But
It can take me a couple of, it would be better if someone stood there and said, okay, go ahead and Venmo me. And then I'd be like, okie doke. Otherwise, it's one of those things I remember, every 2 hours for like 3 days. Like,
that
oh my
reminds me,
God.
I think you and I owe each other money. We
Oh my
probably have to
God. Yeah,
figure
we have
that
like
out at
some
some point.
complicated transaction to work through. I don't even know.
I'm like, at this point, I'm just like,
Can we just have our accountants call each other and battle this out? I don't know anymore.
I don't do math. That's stupid.
Well, it was totally like, I'm like, oh, Heather, you paid me for that huge, expensive hotel room, right? You're like, no. Sure you did, months ago.
And then I'm like, oh, those dinners that we did, didn't I even? No. So that's it. I feel like it all evens out in the wash. One day we'll
I
figure
think
it
we
out.
should
But
just agree we both will always owe each other $500.
that's probably true.
Until we die.
Speaking of, no, I'm just kidding. That reminds me, this Patreon thing. No, I'm just kidding. I don't care. Yeah, we're
I'm almost recovered from the black hole that was the spooky season challenge.
Yeah, I know. I hope everybody enjoyed that because like that took us out. As I'm sitting here looking at like a box of books I just ordered, I'm like, damn it. There's always expenses, but speaking of expenses, I had this amazing idea to maybe like lease a pony for my daughter.
This is a good idea. This can't go wrong.
So I'm just gonna go through it real quick. So I have a client that I go to and I see every month, and I rotate through all her lesson horses, and I do saddle fitting and body work and everything. And she goes, "Oh well, I know you haven't seen this pony a lot. He's very easy keeper, but I'm thinking of selling him." And I said, "What?" Right? And he's so cute. Like he's so chill. He's so cute. He's a great size. He's a large pony. He's one eye, so immediately I'm like, yes, what? Something odd about you. I like it. And so I was like, well, I don't need a third horse. And I know my husband does not want another horse, right? But my daughter wants to show and she wants to ride more. And I don't see us doing that unless we have a horse she can ride. So I was just like, how do I make this work and jump through hoops? So anyway, he's here for a trial. I rode him, my trainer rode him, and then now he's up here for a full week. And so she's been like hand walking him, grooming him, and just kind of getting him used to the arena and everything. He's out next to my boys. So flipping cute, by the way. She was supposed to have her first lesson yesterday because we won't let her ride him without like a lesson because she doesn't know this
Yeah.
pony. And it got canceled because of the wind. So she's going to go today and tomorrow and ride him. And then we're going to decide if Heather's lost her ever-loving mind and is encouraging this third horse situation, or if we're going to return him to find a better home. So,
Oh.
yeah. But, he's super sweet. And if it works out, great. If it doesn't, that's, better for the budget. But, my heart will break a little because he's kind of awesome.
He's really cute.
He's really cute. He's really, really cute.
A third horse is so hard to resist. They're
like chips. You can't just have one.
Each one does something different.
Right.
So there's that. That's like, if you have a pickup truck and a sports car. It's,
then you
and
need
also a sedan to do errands in, right? Better gas mileage, more comfortable, safer for the family. That's what this pony is.
Well, and he's technically he would be for my daughter. Like, it would not be mine at all, even though I might steal him to do some training rides and put some buttons on him and maybe take him on the occasional trail. I haven't thought through this at all. But he would be her little show pony that she could hack around on. She and I could ride together because Ferris is not the one. He can't, he's too technical. He also can't trailer very well. Delight's retired. So, like, she doesn't have a horse with full access. So if I could give her that gift.
You can't expect a teenager to share a horse with mom, especially if she wants to show. That's a completely unreasonable expectation.
Yeah. And I love that you're backing me up on this because my husband thinks I'm insane. But, I have a lot of connections in the horse world. And I feel like if I could work this out so we're not spending more than, like, potentially what she would pay to ride twice a week anyway, then, like, and she could work off part of it and we could figure that out, then why wouldn't we try?
Absolutely. I did. I worked off lessons. I hated it, but I did it. And I worked off board, and I didn't know how much board cost for years and years because I worked full time outside of school and during school hours too sometimes to cover board. So that was, kids can work. If you got the right kind of barn situation where you can find places for her to work, please, she'll work for that pony.
Well, that's it. And I kind of want to give her what I didn't have as a kid, which is that access. Because I only rode once a week until I was, 40. Right.
Yeah.
And so, because my parents couldn't afford more than that, they didn't want to drive me to the barn to work off anything. Like, that wasn't an option for me. So she wants this. So if I'm going to support my other daughters in their hobbies, and this girl has a hobby that I can support her in and find her access, right? Why wouldn't I do it?
Yeah, that's such a good point because you've got somebody in your family that they're doing, let's say that they're doing like lacrosse. I don't know. You wouldn't be like, oh, I do lacrosse too. So we'll just like split everything.
Right.
You can use my lacrosse stuff when I'm not using it. Like, that's not how it's going to happen. You're going to pay for that kid to have all their own lacrosse stuff. So just the fact that you also have a horse doesn't mean that she therefore doesn't get her own stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And listen, I'd be all for sharing if Ferris was that horse. But, with the EPM and everything and the trailering stuff, like, it's just not the right fit. But, like, my other daughter does cheerleading 5 days a week for 9 to 10 months out of the year. My other daughter does marching band for 7 or 8 months out of the year, 5 days a week. Right? So I have this daughter who gets to ride once a week because it's an expensive hobby. Is that really fair? And the others are free. So, like, they're school mandated. So, like, I can take this and say, like, okay, well, I've got connections in this barn and I can maybe arrange a free lease for this or do, like, why wouldn't I do these things? And then have her work off part of that. And so we'll see. But I saw, which is funny, on our Facebook Clubhouse, there was like all these questions about buying your first horse.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe we could talk about how we got our horses and then maybe answer some of the Facebook questions.
Oh, like our first horses?
Well, just like...
Or like our grown-up horses?
Maybe grown-up horses, because we're adulting, right? So, like... right?
Sorry.
No, I'm saying like, well, how did you get Ben?
Oh, Ben. Ben was preordained.
It was fate.
Ben came into my life and would not leave. No, I was looking for some riding like time. And I was because I was working and I thought I'm making enough money that maybe I can afford a riding lesson every week. I was like, oh my God, I'm making that much money. It took me a really long time to get a grown-up salary. So I went and I took a riding lesson and like nothing really happened. I kind of hated it. And I said, maybe I just need the some saddle time and I can just like get back to me. So I tried a couple horses for partial lease, to ride like 3 days a week. And I tried one and I liked him, but the drive was kind of a pain. And then I don't think I messaged Jess. I think she messaged me and asked if I wanted to try this pony, and she sent me this video and I was like, oh no. Ooh. Little slab
Cringe.
of a chestnut that he was, saddle broke, green broke, and that was it. And she was like, he needs time and mileage. I'd like him to be a school horse. And I said, all right, what's the harm? So I drove up and I tried him, and he was like riding a piece of plywood, just absolutely no bend to him whatsoever. And I was like, yeah, okay, all right, what the hell? What the hell? I'll lease this horse.
Project.
And so, so I started riding him 2 or 3 days a week whenever I could get up there. And he turned out to be really, really nice once he figured out that his spine had joints in it and it wasn't a straight line. Things started to change for Benny.
So no PPE, no nothing? Like you just he just like grandfathered in?
That would imply a purchase was involved. You have to understand, I half leased, air quotes, and I rode him every week for several years, and then they began referring to him as my horse, and then he showed up in my yard. That's essentially what happened.
Like magic.
Mm-hmm,
Poof.
mm-hmm.
There goes the
There
horse.
were some discussions ahead of time where it was like, I'm bringing Ben up, and I was like, I guess I have to buy some fence.
Well, and then Manny showed up the same way, didn't he? He just like showed up in your like on a trailer one day.
Well, I asked for Manny on Twitter. I asked if anybody had a horse because I was having a horse show up in my yard imminently, and did anybody have something that I could borrow? And my friend on Twitter was like, yeah, here, have Manny. And so now I possess Manny. I acquire most of my horses in sort of roundabout backdoor methods like that. It's not necessarily the best way.
Well, I feel like
it's not right for everyone.
I had to convince Jason, like beg, plead, cry for years in order to even consider owning a horse. And then I really wanted Delight. Like he was probably 6 at the time, and he was like a green thoroughbred learning to jump and stuff. And like, I was just like, this is the horse for me. And he's like, are you shitting me right now? Like, you're a timid rider and you've got 3 young children that would never be able, if we're going to do this, we need a family horse. And I'm like, okay. So I cried a lot about it. And after I had my fall off of him, because we weren't actively looking, we weren't like searching or anything. After I fell off of him and broke my ribs and bruised my lung, I started riding these 2 other horses at the barn, Rufus and Ferris. And Ferris was the barn favorite. Like, he was one that only 2 people were allowed to ride because the barn owner owned him and was like, no, he's too technical. He's the most precious snowflake in the world. And so Robin, my trainer, had convinced her to let me ride him. And she did. And I was like, oh my God, he's so hard to ride. Like, he's so opposite of what Delight was, but he was fun because he actually had to like work. So anyway, I convinced Jason that he needed to be bought. And I went to the owner and we convinced her to allow me to purchase him and like keep him at the barn. So no PPE, no vet check, no nothing. I was just riding this horse for like 2 months. And I was like, this is the one. And then when it came to Delight, I had been, I'd had Ferris for 3 years, and I got this call from Delight's owner, or like a text message or something, and was like, oh, hey, Delight's going to be, sent to auction, or like something along those lines. And I was like, what is going on? And so she told me all the problems he'd been having. And I was like, yeah, no, like I need to take this horse. And so I went and figured out like a sanctuary situation for him where he could like rehab and just be a horse for a while. And like, so it kind of was like an adoption thing that like he wasn't like supposed to be ours,
Yeah.
um, kind of thing. And then I was like, well, let's see, maybe I can end up riding him. And so like we did the kind of a backwards situation too, where they kind of just fell into my laps,
Yeah.
and
I
then
think
even
they're a
this little
good,
guy, he again, he
yeah.
was a client, and she's like, "Oh, he's going to be for sale." I'm like, "No, he's not."
People who own, there are certain horses out there that they're going to be kind of hard to sell, and that you can't guarantee that that sale home is going to be the best for them or that it's going to last. And when when you have friends with horses in those situations, sometimes you're the best bet. And that's
Right,
how these sort of special arrangements come to be, where you're like, well, you're dealing with a situation where like I love this horse and I can't keep this horse anymore for various reasons. I have to place the horse, and
right,
that's a different thing from selling a horse. And
totally.
so I have been on both sides of that equation where I have placed horses with people and they've gone on to have great lives, and I have no regrets about the lack of money changing hands, where I was like, this was the right horse for the right person, and I would much rather know that they're together, even though that person maybe didn't have, the purchase price, whatever that horse might be, air quotes, worth. And I think those are the best situations. I don't like selling horses. I've sold horses before, and I don't like that I don't know where they are. I feel responsible for something that I can't help. And that's a very helpless feeling because I can't
Well,
help
I mean,
it.
the only way
So,
that I could see letting Delight go, right,
mhm.
to like a retirement home or something like that, it would be as somebody I knew, like, and
Yeah.
knew well, and right now he's with his previous owner. So he's at my barn with his original owner that I know, he's well cared for. She and I kind of like both watch out for him, and,
Hmm.
she doesn't ask me for anything. So like, it's one of those like win-win situations. Like we know he's safe and we know he's loved. Um, but
Yeah.
and not every horse has a happy ending like that.
Right. That's why I prefer that as the priority in any exchange, is like, look, are you gonna take the best care of this horse?
Right.
And are you going to call me if you need anything at all? Okay, deal. you
Yeah, because
know,
there's some real shady people out there.
there are, and you know what? Perfectly normal seeming people can turn shady over money. Like,
Hmm.
you might sell a horse for 20 grand to a great home, and then something goes off in their life, or they quit riding, or they take a bad fall or whatever, and they're like, get rid of this horse. Where's the horse? Nobody fucking knows. And you see it so often. It's just exhausting. It's
Yeah,
just,
well, and I have one of my clients, they specialize in like leases. So they lease and train, like they train these young, like large ponies, and then they lease them out to kids for a reasonable
mhm,
price, right? That's their job. And this one, he's a unicorn. He came back from a lease situation at a very high level barn in like, Aiken. And he was, they had, clipped him. So he had razor burn all over him. He had lost weight, and he had a staple in his forehead because apparently that is an acupuncture method, but they never took it out.
oh, so I can just use a stapler and do acupuncture?
Apparently.
I have
And
a stapler.
so we're looking at him like, why is he so pole shy? And they're like, oh, Heather, like this is, I'm like, what? This is what happened. And this is a high level barn
Oh my
in
God.
a beautiful area. And this is not a cheap pony. This is like a high level. He is always in the ribbons. And this is
Hmm.
how he got treated. And it wasn't even their horse. Like it was a lease situation.
I love
It
leases, but I would never give a horse for an off-site lease.
No, I
Because
think if
people
I
are
were to ever
crazy.
need to lease out Ferris or like a half lease, it would have to be on property. Like I'm too much
Yeah. Or for me,
concerned
I
with their
couldn't have
health.
a person at my home. I would die. But I could,
Right.
do a boarding stable nearby where I could be like a constant
You can check
annoying
in.
presence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because no, I think leases are amazing, and I wish that more barns specialized in them.
Yeah.
so we always have 5 stalls for leases, and you can always come and get a horse for 6 months and see if it's the right horse for you,
That's a great idea.
or move up, get more ride time in so you can move up. Leasing is the best, especially for adults.
Well, that's how I first started riding more. Is I would
Mhm.
work. I was a working student in exchange for like a 2-day a week kind of quarter lease situation where 1 lesson and 1 free ride. Like I could go hack and do whatever. And I tell you, I learned more in that than I did just taking lessons.
Oh yeah, you learn so much in those free rides. I've been at barns where leasing the school horses was a big part of the program,
Mhm.
and people, they got better. And I've been at barns where it's just lessons, and people stay at the same level for a really long time. You got to get
Yeah.
out there and kick around and make mistakes, and let the horse push you around a little bit.
Yeah, and not have someone just telling you exactly what to do. Sometimes you have to
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm trying to do with my kid is like, this pony is not, he's not for beginners. Like he's forward. I got
Mhm.
on him and I was like, woo, okay, don't add leg. Like he is forward with a hard mouth. He doesn't really know how to break yet. And, or if he does, it's like, it's all body and voice command. So
Yeah.
he'll challenge her, but he doesn't bolt. He doesn't bolt off. Like he just goes straight into the trot. And then if you get tense on him, he goes into the canter, but his canter is as fast as the trot because he's a pony, like he doesn't really go anywhere. So I'm like, if my kid wants to learn to be a better rider, he is going to teach her how to do it because these lesson horses teach her how to add leg. So now let's teach her to finesse that.
And there is something, you're right, about a large pony, because Ben's that way where he every now and then he just like goes through the bit and kind of takes off with me, and I'm like, where are you
Where are you
going?
going?
Whereas it would be really noticeable on a small pony. You'd be like, oh my god, what just happened? And it'd be really noticeable on a horse because you'd be covering some distance, but on a large pony you're just like, the hell are you doing, man? Like, slow down.
Like, I don't know. I'm like, okay, this is where we circle.
It's like their bodies are just a little too chunky to actually accomplish anything. Their legs aren't quite long enough to go anywhere.
Yep. Well, that's it. And it's a short stride, so it always feels faster than it really is. So I was just like, this might be perfect for her to learn on because, she could still show one of the lesson ponies as they want her to show her this spring. And, because my daughter's small and so she can ride a lot of the ponies. So, but, yeah, so we'll see. But I've never gotten a PPE. Not that I'm against them. I think they show you certain things that I've always gotten horses I was already familiar with.
Yeah, the only one we got one on. I think my first 2 horses had PPEs, and yeah, there wasn't anything really to it. There weren't X-rays or anything like that. It was
Right.
more like a
Reflection tests, right?
this horse is definitely breathing. It has all its fits. It's
always a
not falling
bonus.
down lame. There's nothing broken in there. You're good to go, right? And the first horse, he had massive digestive problems that PPV never would have found.
Right.
So that didn't matter. And the second horse did anything and everything he ever wanted and lived a really long time. And then I've never had one done on another horse. I guess technically I've bought brood mares at a thoroughbred auction that they really just came with a certification that they were bred, nothing else. So that doesn't really count. So yeah, that's it. That's all I've ever done. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. I mean, if I were going to a sale barn, right, to a trainer with a bunch of horses for sale, I'd have to work something out because I would be very nervous of, I don't want to say the trainer is probably cooking something up with the horse, but it happens enough that I would be nervous about it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
If I were going to be spending $20,000 or more on a horse, or even more than 10, let's just say,
yeah,
if I, I could see the benefits of doing a PPE to make sure that your investment, right, because that's what it would be that investment would have a safe return, right? Like you'd have a long-standing relationship, and they were capable of doing the sport you wanted, right? But I'm just mucking about in the arena, doing a light hack periodically if possible. I don't do much with my horses. So they're a little stiff because they got a little arthritis in that hock. You know what? I'm okay with that.
Yeah. And I do think if like us and bopping around, I think it's a good idea to look amongst your friends and get to know people at your boarding barn or whatever, and see if you can't get a horse through those channels. Not necessarily like a giveaway or something, but somebody you know,
right.
as opposed to chasing down ads and going to look at the guaranteed bomb-proof husband horse that you really don't know anything about.
Oh, yeah, and that could be completely drugged in all the videos, right?
Yeah, just as much of $5,000 horse as a $20,000 horse could be just as dangerous if you don't know anything about it, for sure.
Well, and, I will say, too, like, trust your trainer. I mean, if you ride with a trainer, the first thing I did was, like, send a video of this pony to my trainer and be like, what do you think of this? Is this even worth looking at?
Right.
And when she said, yeah, he's really cute, let's see him, I let her ride first before I got on, because I wanted to know, is this horse too much for me? And if so, definitely worth more than for, not enough words. If it's too much for me, then it's definitely too much for my daughter, right?
Right.
So, I kind of like was just like, okay, you get on. And then she's like, oh, Heather, yeah, canter him. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't really want to canter a horse I've never met before or ridden before. And she's like, just canter. And I was like, oh, then he must be fine. And he was great. It was great. But because I know she's not going to put me in a situation, because if she got on that pony and was like, absolutely, there's nothing we can do for this, and this is not a good fit for your daughter, then why waste our time?
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of like trust, because I know my trainer is going to be real honest with me. My trainer, unlike some, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but she's not going to just try to get the money out of the deal. My trainer really wants the best for me long term. So like, I know she's not looking for a commission.
Yeah.
So I do need to say that some trainers are looking for a commission and then will overhorse you because of the expense. Like they want the money.
Yeah, if somebody's that's such a good point. It might even be worthwhile to offer a trainer a flat rate to help you find a horse and say, please don't take a commission on this. I mean, everybody takes their own business dealings, but yeah, if somebody is looking for commissions, then that's going to be a factor, because that's how much they're getting paid back for their time, and we don't. It's a struggle making money with horses, so it's a struggle not to go, whoa, that horse is going to bring me in an extra $1,000.
Right. And if they're between two horses, right? One that's maybe 20 grand and one that's 30, but one is maybe a little iffy.
And if the horse needs tune-up rides, who's doing it and who's getting paid to do it? So that's a concern as well.
Yeah.
Oh, can't
so always something to consider.
Heather, I feel so down right now. Can we trust no?
I mean, you could trust me, Natalie.
That's true.
I'm never going to lie to you.
It all comes back to our friends. You got to make horse girlfriends. That's all you can do.
Yes. Well, even of some horse girlfriends, I know of people who have done project horses and wanted to sell a horse that I didn't think was the right fit for a person, but it was not my place to say because they didn't ask. Right. So I've really struggled sometimes being like, I don't know about that one. And not saying it because their trainer's telling them something different. I'm like, it's one thing if they ask your opinion. Because me, I have loads of opinions. So, but they're not always right because I don't know everything.
Yeah. It's funny because the biggest business in the horse world is amateurs, making money off amateurs.
Right.
And, if I could impart one piece of advice to any amateur, it would be like, steer clear of the money. Just don't do anything that involves a lot of money, because that's when they come for you.
And so don't let them know you have money.
Avoid the business at all costs. Just play. Let's play. Everybody play. It's much safer.
Horses as business always makes my stomach churn a little bit,
because news. Yeah.
It's just a bad news. Like if I'm going to treat a horse like it's a car that I upgrade every couple of years, then maybe I'm in the wrong sport. But that's my personal belief in things, and that's
all of our listeners' beliefs. That's why they are here with us.
So well, if not, I've definitely ruffled a few feathers. But sorry, it's just my opinion.
5-star reviews means you hate us.
Well, we'll see. I'm curious to see how this first ride goes with this pony.
I'm excited. I think you should live stream it.
I'm going to video it for sure because I want to send it to his owner. because this is so sad. So when she let her students know that he was possibly leaving for a trial, or that he was leaving for a trial, and possibly for offsite longer period, all the kids were visiting him and crying.
Oh, for crying out loud.
And one of the little kids said, "Don't worry, sissy. They might send him back because he only has one eye."
Oh, Jesus. Oh,
was like-
no. Why?
I know. I'm like, they don't know me at all. But it's been great. He's only been there a couple days, but he comes right to my daughter at the gate. She's walking him around in this huge wind, and he's already learned what treats mean. So I told her, I was like, this is how we give treats and do stuff for them so they don't get mugged constantly. But yeah, I'm excited to see she's excited, and I feel like I'm giving her this opportunity to have something I never got to have when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I always wanted. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
That's the whole point of being a parent. Giving your kids stuff you wanted and you didn't get. Sometimes they don't want it, and then you have to force it on them, and that's annoying.
That's not what I want to do. Is it like broccoli? Like
no, like books and ponies. Like take all the books and all the ponies. I don't want the books and the ponies. Well, I wanted them, so you're getting them.
You took like a nice parenting moment and you morphed it into like a narcissistic thing.
Some might say that is my superpower: morphing nice things into bad things.
It is why I adore you immensely.
My negativity.
With a smile, though. You always have a smile. So
I always have a smile. That's important.
I don't know. Is your adulting win going to be your birthday, or the nap, or what's your
vacation?
Win? Vacation. That's right.
The quitting doing things. I mean, literally on Sunday, I got up around 9:00. I took my book out to the sofa. I stayed there until 3:00.
Stop. That's like porn. Stop. You're making me so horny right now.
Day. It was a big, fat, 400-odd page novel, and I read the whole damn thing. It was very cool. It
sounds like heaven.
Immigrants in the 19th century. It was fantastic.
And
so
now
that was crazy. And then I planted my garden, so my vegetable garden is planted for spring. So that was pretty good.
A lot of good things.
Yeah.
And Disney.
Oh, it's so beautiful right now. March is gorgeous in Florida.
That's why you're wearing a sweater, right?
Well, yeah, it's still spring. Goes up, it goes down. It was like 88 the other day.
I'm outside earlier with just a long sleeve shirt and it's 41 degrees out. I was like, "Ooh, it's spring."
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. That first time that you go out without a coat, like, oh my God, it's not in the 30s. Yeah, it's not like that. It just got so warm here so quickly, and then it got cold again. I was like, oh shit, I forgot how cold is.
And it teases you. Those little waves tease you so much. Well, we've had like just nonstop deluge like rain.
Really?
It's been so bad and our paddocks stay pretty good, but our entire front paddock, half of it is a lake. I'm talking like underwater, can't see mud lake.
Oh.
In the whole front half of it. And so I had to go get the horse out of the paddock to do a massage the other day. I was like, and he wouldn't come to the gate. I was like, I don't blame you. I'm not going in either. So I guess I'll see you later.
I remember that from boarding stables in summer here. It's like, oh man, the horse is on the other side of like 20 feet of water. God damn it.
And then I was like, well, I don't have to be the one to bring him in. So like, I'll work on him today instead when I'm there and he's already in. Because I'm like, sorry. Benefits of working on the horses at my own barn, right?
And when you walk on your toes along the fence line, like,
and then you squish, squish. Well, and it's boot sucking mud because I was wearing my muck boots, but it was like you take a step and then you sink, and then you like have to like wiggle your foot to get it out with the shoe on. I was like, no, I'm clearly gonna lose something. So, and that was just to open the gate for my horses because it's only like a 1 foot spot of mud in my paddock, which is I love. I never want to change paddocks. But I was like, oh my God. And I almost just opened the gate and was like, Delight, go to your stall. Like I almost was like, just go. But yeah, so my adulting win of the week, it's been an interesting week. I think I'm excited to do this trial for my daughter and see, I don't know if it's a win yet, right? But
Yeah.
so far he's been really fun to have him there and to see her like come to the barn with me. And while I'm doing my barn things, she's doing her own barn things. So like that's a first, which is really pretty cool, you know, and she's getting more independent. Like she's learning how to wash the legs, and she's doing more than she would with just a lesson horse. I showed her how to do a little bit of like hand walking and how you kind of match speed and get him to whoa and stop at your shoulder and like all those things. And then this weekend, when this airs, I will be flying first class to Las Vegas for my really good friend from college. She was my best friend and my sister forever. She's getting married, and so we're having her bachelorette party with a whole bunch of my college friends in Las Vegas this weekend. It's going to be a shit show because it's St. Patty's Day. But yeah, but she's in LA for work right now, and she lives in Paris. So like we're like, let's just do it. So we're gonna go out. We've got plans to go see Magic Mike. And when I say we're going with friends from college, I say we're going with a group of like 15 to 18 people, and half of them are men. Okay, all of our friends from college are men.
This really sounds like fun. A movie is being made.
I mean, there might be a book, a rom-com of some sort that comes out of it. I'm calling it Feral Fun Times because whenever I see my friends from college, they just light me up. They make me feel so much better about life. And, you know, it's like stepping back into college for a short minute just with a 40-year-old body. So we're going to have a lot of fun. And then I'm taking a first class back because I'm going to need to sleep on the plane because she has just booked us for everything. So maybe during the day we get to relax, but everything from like 3 o'clock on is just like boom, boom, boom. So I'm looking forward to it though.
No, that sounds like my nightmare.
Oh, no, you wouldn't even go. You wouldn't even go.
I wouldn't. There's no way.
But Disney during spring break, that's a nightmare for me. So
I know what I'm doing.
Well, you know all the things to do.
I know all the things. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also know when to just quit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, calling it. Bar, let's go.
I will say, I always liked, we did go to Disney once for spring break with my college friends, actually. And some of our favorite memories are doing that. So I think it's more fun when you're an adult than when you're a kid going to Disney.
It is. Well, and the late nights are really good. Right? So like tomorrow night, I can be in the park. I could be at Magic Kingdom from 11 p.m. until 1 a.m. for like resort. They used to call it extra magic hours. They don't anymore, but it's just for resort guests. So like that cuts down. That's when you can do all the stuff you couldn't do during the day, and it's beautiful at night. It reminds me of working there at night because I used to love working nights at Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, so you are like more of a night person than I am because that sounds like I just need naps
to do it now. Yeah. But you know that's okay.
Hey, but that's what vacation's for, naps. Yeah. And I don't think I've taken a nap since you and I were on the cruise. So.
I've taken a lot of naps.
It's so sad. Well, maybe I'll have to do that this weekend because, you know, my girlfriend and I are sharing a room and maybe we'll get some nap times just to get me through the evenings because I do not party like I used to and I'm not drinking. So
nobody can.
Yeah. It's terrible.
All
right. Well, have fun in Disney. And I will have fun in Las Vegas, which is basically Disneyland for adults.
As a Disneylander who is an adult, I disagree. Disneyland is for adults.
I agree. Disneyland is for adults. Yeah, and so I guess next time we talk, we can catch up on some of those stories.
Yeah, we'll have to catch up on our debauchery.
I love it. Looking forward to that.
All right, good luck with that pony.
Thank you. I'll let you know how it goes and have a great birthday. Enjoy your nap. Jealous.
Thank you. Birthday nap.